Welcome back to Mango Lagoon. I hope y'all are having a blessed day. I wanted to give y'all a little short video on kind of a documented growth on my mangrove trees. I've had them for about 18 months now. I ordered them off of eBay. I ordered 5 of them. Only 3 survived. That's all I really wanted. I didn't want 5 in the tank. I wanted to only have 3 of them. But I got some pictures here I'm going to kind of run through, and I created a little short video where I'm talking over the pictures to kind of explain what's going on. So I kind of have some documentation on how they grew and everything like that. They've done really well. So far I'm 2 weeks into the transfer over. They're looking healthy. The rest of the tank's looking good. I still have some diatoms on the sand, but that's no big deal. It'll all kind of go away with time. The conchs really like it right now, so here I'll run the little video for you. So here's the first available picture I have of my mangrove trees about 18 months ago. You can see they're in a very basic 10-gallon tank with a hang on the back filter and a heater and a 30-watt light. I tried to put them suspended in a little PVC structure to try and give the roots some character before I planted them. If you look, you can see the leaves are really droopy in this. That's because they really didn't have enough white. The little 30-watt light I had above them is not enough. I watched a video with Julian Sprung. For those of you that don't know who he is, he's basically like the godfather of keeping mangroves. Look him up. You'll see all kinds of great videos on him. He has an awesome pond out in front of his house with a giant mangrove in it. He basically explains that mangroves need a certain amount of light to power the mechanism of their roots, how they pull in fresh water and extrude the salt water. So I ended up ordering a black box light, and that ended up solving my problem. The next picture here, I had some liquid fertilizer in there. You can tell I got a lot of phytoplankton growing in there. So I ended up realizing I needed to probably have some biological filtration in there. So I added a little bit of sand, bought some rock. The mangrove roots were growing really well. I mean, I was getting probably about an inch of growth each month in the mangrove roots, but towards the end they grew for a certain amount, and then they really started to spread out into these little thin roots. That's when I realized they just needed to be planted. You could tell they wanted to be in some substrate. I eventually stuck them in this 20-gallon right here that I connected up with just a simple pump to the 10-gallon. It pumped up to the 10-gallon, overflowed back down into the 20. Had a heater in there and an auto top off. You can see the light, the leaves are looking much better under the black box light. But here there's no growth in the leaves because this is right when I planted them. That was probably about 1 year ago. After I planted them, the leaves started to take off. They started to grow new sets of leaves just about every 6 weeks. So here you can see where I have another new set with the growth tips on top. They were growing pretty well at this point. I think I just had 1 fish in there at this time. After they kept growing a little bit, I realized I wanted to limit the vertical height of the leaves. So what I ended up doing is I read a lot about pruning mangroves and the best way to do it. And at first I tried just cutting off the growth tip. I wanted them to more spread out wide instead of grow really tall like I had seen on some other folks' mangroves. So I wanted to get more width on them, so I cut off the growth tip. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out like what I want. What ended up happening, you can see right here, it just ended up being another little odd looking growth tip. I wasn't going to they didn't split is what I wanted them to do. I wanted the growth tip to split into 2 different kind of trunks or 2 different branches growing off. And all I got was 1 new growth tip. So I ended up cutting even further down. I went down 1 more set of leaves and chopped them off. This took me about 4 months to get to this point. But I finally got the 2. You can see the 2 little buds starting to form here that were going to be the beginning of 2 new branches coming out. So this is what I really was looking for. This is what I was trying to get to. Shortly after that, you can see a tiny little leaves on here. They're like little baby mangrove leaves with the new growth tip. This was, again, the slow process. But this is what I was going for. I didn't want just one, tall giant trees. I wanted them to stay short. I'm trying to keep almost bonsai trees here. You can see they're still growing here. I mean, little leaves. I got new growth, so that's what I wanted. So they're continuing to grow. The next one here, you can see how they're still growing. I'm getting much larger leaves. You can start to see the beginning of two very distinct branches coming off. This is what I was going for. Again, this was all just trial and error here. I had read some things online and looked some other videos up. Here you can continue to see the branches are really growing. They're getting taller. They're growing towards the light is what they're doing, you know. And even that black box, it was all right. It gave them enough light, but they all tried to reach just right towards that black box. This is right before I was about to transfer them over to the new tank, and you could see the leaves split on their own, actually. So one growth tip turned into three. It continued on with the growth tip on up, but it actually split off into two new branches that are growing on off. So this is even better than me cutting them. And I was just about to cut them here when they did this. So I was really happy when I finally saw them getting to this point. This means my mangroves are really growing real well. Anyway, I'll continue on. And then here they are after about 18 months of having them. You can see this one, this branch is split into two new branches shooting off the side with its own growth tip. This one has one new branch growing off the side with the growth tip. This one has one over there. This one has two with the growth tip. And this one has two over there. And that one's just kind of spouting off one new growth tip, I think. This third one over here has been about my slowest grower of the three. This one and this one have been about my best growers. So they've done real well so far. I'm very pleased. I think just 18 months in, I'm happy with how they've grown. This is a long-term project. This was not something I just wanted to set on up for a little bit. I obviously devoted pretty much of a whole tank to growing these mangroves. Got the lights for them up above. This will really allow them, I think, to spread on out and get the light instead of growing towards just one light. I think they'll kind of hopefully get some more width instead of just that vertical growth with them. Again, I'm running just a bare bones system. You can see down here in my sump, all I have are 3 pumps, an auto top off, and 2 heaters. No filters, no skimmer, anything. So this is just kind of an experiment to see how it goes, to see if I can maintain a saltwater reef tank with basically just 3 mangroves acting as my filter. So far so good. I'll keep y'all updated. Thanks for watching. Remember, take a few quiet moments throughout your day and listen to what the Lord has to say to you.